Mina igama lami nginguSibusisiwe Ngwenya, ngazalelwa eSten Mophuza mntwana ongelambeleko 100 kilometers before Gwanda. So ekhaya sikhula kwakulesihlahla lesi kuthiwa ngumthethane, and sasithatha okungabantwana kwangikhona lokho ama seeds sipheka itiye. Ukhokho wami uMamthethwa nguye owasifundisayo about this tree. Yayisinceda njalo nxa kuyikuthi umuntu lo uyakhwehlela ngezwa kuhle, so usebenza okuningi. Ababezayo labo bayabeza besebenzisa isihlahla sonesi, so hayi siyasebenza kakhulu, and ngiyathaba ukuthi ngisibonile lapha eKasibo. Ngiyathaba kakhulu, ngiyajabula isikhathi onike sona. Thank you.
Norms and values. So you realize that it's a sacred shrine, and back then it was a sacred shrine and it still remains a sacred shrine, and hence the wetland is being conserved through cultural norms and beliefs. So you'll find that here we are trying to show how the wetland was before. Remember, I highlighted that a lot of people then moved in, so it means we had a high population now in the area, all coming to get the supply of water. We also had a lot of livestock, and hence the wetland then got degraded. And after the community realized that the wetland was fast degrading, they then approached government and requested the government to assist in the restoration of the projects. So here we are trying to just show the summary of the degradation and how then it became after the restoration, how it is after the restoration. So here it's down there where there is the gate to go into the protected area. This protected area, the wetland area, is under 2 hectares. So the core of the wetland and this catchment, it's under 2 hectares within the fenced area here. So this was before, as you can see, severe degradation there. Manifestation of too many cattle moving onto this piece of land to try and access the water, and hence it was then degraded. That's 2019. And here this was after the protection, the fencing then of the catchment area, the core area. As you can see, there's now dense vegetation cover, enhanced biodiversity there starting, as you can see. And over here again you can see we have a lot of fig trees within this area, and you can see Kasibo catchment area with minimal ground cover. That's 19 July 2019, and this is now after. You can see the increased vegetation after the protection of this area. And even if I move over to here, you can see this is the source of this wetland. This picture here, if you look at it very closely, it shows a massive degradation because of livestock trampling, cattle coming to drink water, for watering from this point. And this ward here has got 5 villages, so you can imagine all the cattle from the 5 villages coming to this point, water source. So it then got degraded, and after protection, you can see this is the very same source that you are seeing here, and here it has now been rejuvenated with now ground cover because of the protection. There is no longer disturbance, there is no longer livestock accessing the water point. So we really want to thank here the community and the government and the development partners that are highlighted earlier on, EMA, Parks and Wildlife Management, Forestry Commission, the RDC, Wangerua District Council. So allow me now to take you further down for you now to see where...
Yeah, all right. So my name is Ake Rosenqvist and I represent the Japanese space agency, JAXA. So I work with environmental monitoring. So I was just wondering how the preservation project affects the wildlife in the area. So I understand a lot of the problems is because of the pasture of domesticated animals. So I was wondering how it affects the wildlife and the animals who normally would use the wetland. And I was explained to me that they can get the water further downstream instead. So, because I was a little bit worried about this big fence around a natural area. So, thank you.
Just introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, tell us which organization you represent, and you tell us your appreciation of the wetlands.
On the wetlands here?
Yeah, okay. What you've seen so far?
Yeah, okay. So I'm Lynn Rochefort from Canada. I'm part of the official Canadian delegation. I'm a specialist in peatland, less in wetlands. But mostly what I learned here is that a lot of the restoration work can be accomplished like in part of the south, which is not the same as in the north of Canada, but by fencing. So if you fence, you really protect, the water upwelling, and then this is a good way for doing the restoration by fencing against grazing animals.
Okay. Yeah. And what can you say about the Kasibo? What have you seen? An appreciation of what you've seen.
I'm Montserrat Lara from a civil society organization in Chile, and I was very impressed by the restoration project we saw. The wetland is recovering very quickly after it was fenced. And I think an interesting thing, the local community is included, their local knowledge is being also part of the project. And they are being able to get the ecosystem services back from the wetland in a collaborative way, working with the government, with NGO, with development agencies, the National Park Service, and the local community.
Okay, Montserrat, do you have anything to say?
How are you? I'm Ignacio Rodriguez. I work for a Wetland Research Center in Chile. I'm part of the Chilean delegation. And this is one strong example of how wetlands serve us to survive and to be alive, because you have water, you keep the healthy wetland, you have harvest, you can harvest agriculture, you can do aquaculture, and that's why we should protect them. We can't live without them, and this is one more example. The good thing is the community is involved. The community knew that they need to be protected, and this is a great result of integrating all this knowledge for the benefit of the human and the biodiversity.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So good afternoon and thank you for joining us. We are Ngwenya Chronicles, and please tell our audience your experience of the site tour in Kasibo today.
Oh, it's been a wonderful experience here this morning in Kasibo, and meeting with the local villagers and learning about what they've been doing in terms of managing their wetlands and successfully regenerating the wetland and deriving a lot more benefit out of it. And as you can see behind us, the wonderful garden that they've now got that is sustaining the people and providing incomes and livelihoods. So it's a true success story. It's wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything you can say, maybe as a comment, to contribute to the preservation exercises that are already in place?
Well, I think the takeaway that I have this morning is the importance of engagement by local communities. I mean, this is really driven by the local community. I think it's very inspirational. I think many other local communities that are facing water shortages and other challenges could certainly learn from what the people of Kasibo have done here. It's simply a wonderful success story.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Sure.
My name is Mrs. Amukela Sidange. I'm the Environmental Education and Publicity Manager with the Environmental Management Agency, EMA. We're quite excited as the agency to have actually assisted today towards the agenda, which is actually a sideline agenda to COP15 meeting that is ongoing in Victoria Falls. We are here in Kasibo Wetland, which is actually Kasibo Catchment project, whereby we are saying it's just one of our wetlands that we are working with communities. We have over 80 of such projects across the country where we are working with communities, assisting them to sustainable manage their wetlands. And if we look at what is happening here in Kasibo, it's actually a wetland that was well protected, regenerated through fencing of the core, and from there we then had the recharge of water that is now used downstream by harvesting the water, taking it back for agricultural purposes. As you can see here, we've got everything that you can talk about when it comes to food security is now fitting into the food security pillar, because you can see the cropping that they have, the fish that is behind me, is all part of the of the nutritional value. Even the orchard that has been set here is part of agroforest because of the water that is coming from a well-maintained wetland. And we cannot forget also the issue of apiculture. They are also having an apiculture project here where they are actually selling their honey. And if we look at this project, we have been able to work through with the communities and other entities using the whole of government and society approach. You'll find that we've had NGOs that have been part of this project, government departments that have been part of this project. So we are using the collaboration aspect to actually, build up such a project. And looking forward into the future of this project, this is actually a 2019 project and it's still ongoing already. If we look at what is happening here, the future is bright because the community has embraced the aspects of this project. They are now running the project on their own. We just come in here and there for technical backup. After giving them the seed assistance, we moved out and we are coming back just to monitor and give technical backup. And this then means this project and its wetland is going into the future in the true sense that we are protecting wetlands for our common future. There's no way in which you can separate wetlands from the issue of climate change mitigation and adaptation. There are actually about two ways in which we can approach it. For starters, when we look at wetlands they actually store much more carbon than any other terrestrial ecosystem. So in a way they sequestrate carbon. So they remain our backbone when we look at fighting climate change. So it means as a country with all the wetland endowment that we have, we are better placed to fight climate change, but it needs us now to sustainably manage this wetlands so that they continue doing that. Other than that, the other point will be that when we look at wetlands, they remain moisture island. For example, we are here in Wange. This is a very arid region and it's surprising that we are at a space where there is such abundant water, but we need to then understand that this abundance is coming from the sustainable protection or management of a wetland that they have, and therefore at the end of the day this wetland is actually assisting them to adapt to the climate change shocks, as it were. They are able to cultivate their crops in abundance. They are able to actually do any livelihood enhancement project that they can do using the water that is coming from their wetlands. So in a way, what we can say is that wetlands, they remain very critical in the fight against climate change.
My name is Professor Patience Gandiwa. I'm a director for International Conservation Affairs with the Parks and Wildlife Management Authority. Within the framework of conservation promotion beyond the protected area boundaries, and making sure that we support those communities that are living with wildlife. And this area is part of the Kavango-Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area. We believe that it's important to capacitate the communities and also bring technologies to the communities, and making sure that we capitalize on the natural capital that is already within the communities. I was just talking with a colleague about this 3D printed automatic weather station, which gives the local people and also the project participant for this Kasibo Wetland project a real-time information which is very reliable about the weather. And what's unique about this kind of a weather station is that at the MSD laboratories, the Meteorology Services Department laboratories in Belvedere and Harare, we are already making these weather stations, and any other community-based project and other entities that wish to have these kinds of weather station. Our sister institution, which is Meteorology Service Department under the same ministry with ZIMPAX, under the Ministry of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, they are really making huge strides in advancing this. And this project actually shows a whole of government and whole of society approach to supporting conservation and development. And this is one of the reasons why we chose and recommended this site, Kasibo Wetland, to showcase our story and our narrative to the global community that is gathering for the 15th conference of the contracting parties to the Convention on the Conservation of Wetlands of International Importance. We are the co-president, and we are telling a story of how integrated catchment management and restoration of a wetland and protecting the source of the wetland can actually yield multiple core benefits for nature and people. And there are a number of components to this initiative, from apiculture, aquaculture, horticulture, and also the other, citrus production, and a number of livelihood options that really is aimed at transforming the narrative of the people of this area, where we have seen that where we've got a rich natural capital, the paradox of such areas is that that's where you often find the poorest of the poor. And that's not a good thing. And I think we can, within our own means and with our partners, such as the International Fund for Animal Welfare, World Vision, the Environmental Management Agency, Forestry Commission, Meteorology Services Department, and also the local authority, the Wange Rural District Council, we are able to shape the future that we want to see for conservation and sustainable development, and also effective conservation of wetlands. Not only wetlands of international importance, this is a wetland of national importance, which is local action, which has got a national, regional, and global significance, because every wetland matters and every wetland is important. So this is really a story that we believe is scalable, is replicable in all areas where we're seeing wetlands under threat.
Okay, thank you.